Greetings, Professor McKee here with another quick Excel tip your finance professor wishes you knew. In this video, we will learn how to use the f(v) function in Excel to find the future value for an ordinary annuity. In any intro finance class, you will have a unit on annuities, and we professors will always have questions where we give you 4 of the annuity's characteristics and then ask you to find the missing one. If you want to ace those questions, this video is for you. I have prepared a standard annuity question here. Mr. Bennett is trying to find the future value of his annuity. He's putting money into a savings account each year, constant amount every period, so it's an annuity. Now, for any annuity question, it's best to get started by taking this verbal description here and converting it into actual numbers attached to each of the annuity characteristics. Let's start with n, number of periods, and Mr. Bennett puts money into the account each year for 20 years, so once a year, 20 years, we have 20 periods. Our interest rate is 5%. It matches the periods here. We have an annual interest rate, annual payments, so we just put in the 5%. Present value is the amount that he starts out with in the account. This is 0. This is pretty common for a present value of annuity type question, but we'll put it in anyways, even though it ends up not really affecting our calculations. And then payment. Payment is the constant amount he pays into the account. That's that $5,000 every year. And future value, that's what we're trying to find, so we just leave that blank. I'm going to leave payment as a positive number. Keep in mind that with these types of Excel functions, the Excel assumes you are finding future value from someone's perspective, and therefore the signs you would put on present value, payment, and future value matter. And if you set it up wrong, you can cause problems. In this case, future value is what we're trying to find, so that doesn't matter. And present value is 0, and we can't have signs on 0. So the only thing that can have a sign is this 5,000, and whichever one we pick, it doesn't matter. The Excel function will still work correctly. So I'm just going to leave it as 5,000. I could make it negative 5,000, and it wouldn't change my numbers. All right, so now we go to B10 next to FV, type in equals FV, open parentheses, and we're going to put in our parameters here. First one is rate. For interest rate, that's my 5%, so 0.05. N per stands for number of periods, that's 20, so I put in 20. Payment is the payment amount. I have 5,000, so I put in 5,000. And then present value, this is in brackets. That means there's a default value. Present value's default value is 0, which is also our value, so I could just leave it here, not put anything in. But just in case there's a future question that does actually have a initial amount in the account, I'm going to put in 0. And then type also has a default value. Since we have an ordinary annuity here, payments at the end of the period, we don't need to worry about it. We can leave type alone. Close parentheses, hit enter, and I get 165,329. This is negative because it is the opposite of my $5,000 payment. If I had put negative 5,000, I would have got positive 165, as you can see here. When I put in a negative value for 5,000, it just flips around to positive 165. And that is my answer. That's the amount Mr. Bennett is going to accumulate in the account after 20 years. Now, if we want to be a little fancier, use better Excel practices, and most importantly, be able to take this file and reuse it on further future value annuity questions, and I can assure you there will be more than just one in your class. I'm going to clear out my directly entered values here, and instead I'm going to tell Excel what cells to reference when it is looking for the values. So for rate, I entered the interest rate here next to in B7, so I type in B7, and The cell is now highlighted. It's blue colored up here to match that highlighting. And Excel is going to look at B7. It sees a 5%. It puts the 5% in as the rate value in my function. I can click as well to tell Excel. So number of periods was B6. And payment was B9. And present value is B8, although again, I didn't necessarily need to do that. Oops, I already had to close parentheses. Hit enter, and I get that same 165,000. And the advantage here is I can take any of these 4 values. If I have a new question with different values for one or more of these, I just change all of them, and my function here automatically updates. It's very clear and obvious to me what I'm putting in to my function. Otherwise, I'd have to dig, click on here, look in each of my parameters, make sure I have the right numbers. Just to demonstrate, let's say his interest rate isn't 5%. Now it's 4%. So I would just go to interest rate, enter 4% instead of 5, and my future value immediately changes because it is referencing this new value here. And it is, of course, smaller because he is earning less interest every year, so his future value shrinks a little bit thanks to the lower interest rate. With this single function, you can now find the future value of any annuity your professor might throw at you. If you found this video helpful, please comment, like, and/or subscribe so other students can find this too. Happy studying.